Hello, everybody. This is Valet Games back with another video for you all. Um, uh, Today we are doing Donkey Kong Bonanza. Wanted to play something fun, also wanted to play something relevant, so landed here in the middle. I don't know if this has. Yep. Okay. I see my volume bar spiking up and down. Here we go. We're meeting the man, the monkey, the king of swing. Donkey Kong. It's been a hot minute since we've had a full-fledged Donkey Kong game, hasn't it? I'm not, my history kind of starts in the early 2000s. Um, so that's when I was born. That's the most stuff I remember, but um, I know a little bit, like I've got pretty hard to not know about Donkey Kong 64 and stuff like that, especially with all they were porting them out to like Game Boy Advance and other systems. But I'm pretty sure I want to say this is the first new Donkey Kong game we've had since Tropical Freeze, maybe. Someone correct me on that if I'm wrong. The first Banandium gym. Time starts and never quite stops. You know, feels like the Wii came out just a few weeks ago, and that's nearing its 20th anniversary here, I'm pretty sure. Don't mean to blow your mind or make you feel ancient, but the Wii is almost old enough to legally drink in America. Um, it's kind of ruining my own day. That's crazy to think about. Even like 3DS feels like it was just like 4 years ago. That's almost probably is 10 years ago at this point. 15, almost. Yeah, the unrelenting march of time. But we are a donkey and we are a Kong. So how bad can life be, you know? DK, Donkey Kong. I found me a Whopper. I just did. Um, okay. I have to get used to everything because Everything at one point decided it was going to use the Dark Souls um, button mapping, and then you still have these where every now and again you'll get a game that uses like the kind of traditional button mapping, and takes about half an hour to get your brain used to it if you're coming off of something else, or else you, if you're anything like me, you just repeatedly hit the wrong stuff and dive off an edge for 45 minutes straight. Uh, Hand slap. It's hard to go wrong with Donkey Kong. Um, you know, most of Nintendo's platformers that come out alongside the system are pretty innovative and creative usually. How many bananas was that? Was that three? We got three bananas. You know what I might do is I might only do two videos of this. Ooh, it's all the way over there. I might only do two videos of this, and then I'll do two videos of something else, just in case people aren't wanting some more variety, are wanting some more variety. And also because this isn't a very, this isn't the best game to be doing commentary for. Kind of just run around and smash stuff, and there's not really too much I can do to be entertaining about it. But then again, sometimes people just want to watch people play a game. That was why I started this channel. Um, I don't want to click on your 2-hour Twitch VOD that you uploaded. I don't want a 7-minute, review, critique, commentary video. I just want to watch you play the game for half an hour so I can zone out while it's in the background. That's me. I'm sure people have their own preferences and whatnot. I'm not a very social person. I just like being around the uh the socialization. I want to be included, but I don't want to be involved. I like being a wallflower. Oh no, I'm naked. And that kind of bleeds into my the way I use technology. Well, that's not good. Oh, I can move the camera a little bit while it's happening. Interesting. This game looks really pretty. Remember how I was just complaining about these new physics engines and or graphics engines, whatever they are, how they can't quite get hair right? Well, they pulled it off with Donkey Kong. You know, normally it would be like feathery and like translucent towards the ends because they're trying to make it, you know, more realistic, but it just doesn't fully render most of the time. Or if it does, it looks goofy. I don't need something to be photorealistic if it's then gonna look bad, you know? I'd play Call of Duty if Call of Duty looked like this. I don't care. As long as Call of Duty's good, you know? Um, that's what we have genres for, you know? Sandboxes and live sims are, if you want to play real life, that's a genre of games. We don't need, you know, our games to be drop dead realism. I think that kind of defeats the purpose of games. And I think we've ultimately got lost in the sauce where now it's just like of course, everything's become commercialized, right? Where I'm more so interested in the different ways you can tell stories and use this as like a medium that still haven't been explored. Like you could do a game, right, where after you beat the game, you go, psych, now there's new problems. Go back through as, you know, your kid and re-experience all of these. And you can use that as a way to creatively tell the story. It would be like if 3D movies came out and then people only did IMAX 3D movies. They never did like, they never even experimented with the 4D stuff, right? That's kind of what gaming's turned into to me, where we have 4D quote unquote gaming. You know, we have the next step, but um no one really cares, you know, that's not the we're not innovating and making stories. We're creating product and investments. And of course, that's a large overgeneralization. You have your indie game developers and your smaller publishers and push underground. You know, you still have your guys who are genuinely interested in using it as a medium and not commercializing it. You know, your auteurs and your indie developers and your stuff like that. But I think by and large, you look at most games that come out now, and the entire industry is just, well, that's just, you know, how video games are made. That's just how video games work. That's just our idea of video games as a collective culture. So that's the way we made the game versus we have this entire medium or this entire sphere of stuff to tell new stories in new ways with. No one really sees it as that anymore. Where now I'm waiting for our next James Cameron, who's gonna come along and go, I want to make this game. The technology's not there, and then makes the technology for the game. Um, where'd all our visionaries go? Now they're all just making the same stuff that's been the popular, or the other thing um, that I laugh at, I think happens more frequently than people realize, is when games like a game in 2001 will come out with this mechanic, right? Or this thing, and then games in like the 90s or games recently will redo that mechanic. It'll just be new graphics and an update, a game releasing that year. People are like, this is amazing, this is revolutionary, when it's something we've known about game design and game development for the past 20 years. Like Breath of the Wild wasn't anything, it wasn't a revolutionary new idea. It was just the first, like, well executed, widespread kind of type of that idea. Where open world games and games, just letting you go and trusting that the player will figure it out. That's just how video games were made back in the day. But then we retook those ideas and integrated them into the gaming sphere that was, 2017, whenever that game was made. And it was revolutionary and new again because of the open world. The technology had advanced, right? Where I don't think we see enough of that anymore. It'll be like one person will do that, and then the next, you know, 20 mainline AAA games will copy it because, oh, that's the way we're making video games now. Um, at least, that's my thoughts on the matter. Not that anyone was asking for them, but I feel as if it needs to be said, you know. It's what they're doing is they're it would be like if I wrote an Agatha Christie book and I just updated it to where instead of like taking place in the 1940s or 1920s or whenever Agatha Christie was around, 1800s, I don't know. It took place today with cell phones, but it was the same book, same plot, all of that. All I did was update. That's kind of what they're doing in video games, where they're not actually making new books. They're just, here's my take on that book. I've seen people's take on that book. I don't care about your take on that book. I want to see you do something new. And that's where the culture's part of the problem too. You get on TikTok, everyone's, I want Pokemon remakes. I want Pokemon remakes. Yeah, that would be cool, but that's the excitement, or that's the announcement you're most excited about? Like, wouldn't you rather them make new stuff and new ideas? No, just me? I don't know. That's my soapbox. I'll get off it for the day as we come to our next little part. So, you guys know who I am. This has been Valet Games. Thank you for tuning in. You know the drill. Leave a like, leave a comment, leave a subscription. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you agree. Let me know if you disagree. But I'll be here hanging out. We'll make another one of these and then figure out what we're wrapping up the day with. But thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you guys next time. This has been Valet.